On this edition of the Koffers, a dark horse enters the arena. Well, after getting sidetracked with a bunch of new Godzilla and Kong stuff, I'm jumping back into the pool of going through my summer pickups. So I already went over one video showing some stuff I got from G-Fest. Now we're diving into Comic-Con. I've been going to Comic-Con for about nearly 30 years now. I think this year will be my 30th, which technically is only like my 27th because, things happen worldwide. But that said, of all the things I bought this past summer, this guy right here is my absolute favorite thing. And I haven't even opened it yet because I'm a child of the 90s. And in the 90s, Godzilla was a pretty niche thing. Even though, he has a worldwide popularity, there wasn't a lot of stuff to come by on the American market. So you grabbed whatever you could. And back in those days, if you went to comic book conventions, it was getting the bootleg tapes of whatever new Heisei movie was out, or you got the Trendmaster toys, which were about the only other licensed Godzilla thing that was out at the time. So, as far as new material to devour, you had Dark Horse. So, Dark Horse Comics, back in the 90s, they were one of the big three that became big four after Image Comics made their mark. But Dark Horse was known for doing much more gothic in tone. They had the Star Wars license back in the day, and they were arguably the people that kept Star Wars alive in between Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace. And they produced a lot of Star Wars comics. They also did Alien and Predator as well. But here's the thing, one of their very first comics they ever produced was a one-shot Godzilla black and white comic that I argue today is still one of the best Godzilla stories ever made. And that comic, over the next decade, would serve as the origin story for the Dark Horse universe Godzilla. Yes, there was a whole comic line that was kind of wonky at first, but got kind of settled in once Dark Horse made the commitment to go as an ongoing series. Problem is, didn't sell that well because, well, here's the thing, back in the 90s, selling Godzilla to people was still kind of hard. That's the sad truth. But amongst Godzilla fans, that Dark Horse series is beloved. And I am one of them. I have every single issue. I got them all as they came out. That is the upside, your dad having friends who own comic book stores. So smash cut to this past summer when Super 7 was announcing their Comic-Con exclusives, and they unveiled this bad boy, which is the Dark Horse comic Godzilla Ultimate Figure, complete with Art Adams artwork. Now, this is the artwork used in the very first issue of the Godzilla Ongoing that Art did most of the covers for. He famously did one whole book on his own, which is the Godzilla Color Special, which is amazing in its own right. But he didn't do much else, but he did write. He wrote an arc in here. But that said, that's neither here nor there. The little kid in me went nuts over this thing. And of course, I had to have it. So this was my preview night buy. I made sure that I grabbed it because it was going to be in low quantities. And now we're going to crack this bad boy open, and you're going to enjoy it on every level as I am already enjoying it, just looking at the box. So without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. So first things first, ancillary box look. So this Ultimate came with a slipcover, And you see that writing right there. I got it signed by Art Adams at Comic-Con, which is just the icing on the cake for this. If you've never seen the man's work, I mean, that right there speaks for itself, but he's a very detailed artist in his own right. One of the best that came out of the 80s and 90s, if you ask me. My father absolutely loved his stuff, and I do as well. So here you go on the back, and you might be wondering, why is Godzilla bleeding? Well, that's because, real quick, in the series, Godzilla was poisoned by a bioweapon from a woman who survived his original attack in Tokyo in their very first Godzilla comic that was in black and white, like I mentioned earlier. So continuing the storyline all the way up from like 10 years past, which is why I love comics. It doesn't matter, no stone unturned. So that is the artwork for the slipcover. Let's get this guy up without tearing it. So here we are, unmasked. Now let's get a look at the back on this guy. As you can see, more artwork underneath. This is straight from the comic books. And there you go. There is the backstory to this particular figure. Now let's open him up. So here are all of the pieces laid out. So we have the main body, the tail, the extra head, 2 extra sets of hands, and this little guy we'll get to in a minute. So if you saw my review of the other 2 Super 7 figures I got, which were the Meltdown Godzilla and the Destroyer, there is the Dreaded Peg, which is where the tail goes, which means, as always, we got to get the trusty air dryer. And you know what? I'm going to skip it and not bore you with the gruesome details. Let's get this guy assembled and we'll come right back. And there he is, completely assembled. And I even took the hair dryer to loosen up those joints. If you want a little tidbit for your collecting needs, if you're new to this, a good regular hair salon style hair dryer will do the work on any brand new action figure, especially one you're paying a little money for, because joints do be stiff, and well, you don't want that breakage when you first open up. There's nothing worse than when you open up a brand new figure and you're just trying to get the arm to move and it snaps right off. That is the taste of defeat right there. So here we are. This is a repaint of Super 7's first Ultimates line Godzilla, which is, common practice today in pretty much most major toy companies. But it works because this Godzilla, that is the Dark Horse Godzilla, was pretty much based off the early 90s Godzilla. So between 89 and 94, that is pretty much the hologram that they use. So this works absolutely perfect for this Dark Horse Godzilla. So first things first, you can see the paint job. He matches the green color that was featured in the comic books pretty damn well. Let's get a little close up of that face right there. Look at that, just a mug that only a mother could love. The dribbling of the blood is a nice detail. They even got it coming out of the nose like it is in the comics because, well, he's pretty much got some sort of weird hemorrhaging-based bacteria that's going through him. The eyes are actually really good. Those are very well done, the paint job on the eyes. Those might be stickers, but either way, that is well done. So great detailing in the rest of the figure. And he's pretty awesome. for me, this is a bit of a my God, I can't believe they did it. So I've always wanted more figures based off the comic art, especially manga and American comics. And so far, this is about as close as I'm getting, unless things change, but who knows. Deep down, my ultimate wish would be a Steve Rossetti style Godzilla done in that original comic. But that is for another day. So let's go over some of the bigger features of this guy. So as you can see right here, the head spins on a joint. There is a neck piece that you can move for greater mobility. He has a shoulder joint that goes up and down, left and right. There is a joint in the elbow, which is still a little stiff. I should have taken a little more time with that. And then the hands, fully articulated. The waist moves right there, nice swivel. The hips have full rotation. There's a joint at the knee, so you can get that bend. And then the feet also swivel and move. Again, should have taken the hairdryer to this a little longer, but that is all on me. So he's got plenty, there you go, plenty of articulation, which is pretty good considering this is just a big action figure. And the tail is segmented in parts. You can see there, giving you a little more vitality and movement. And of course, at the base, turns. So you have a very posable Godzilla. Now let's try out the other accoutrements that come with it. And after that wonky photography, there you go. So I put one of each of the extra hands on, and the open mouth head, which doesn't close, which I know a lot of people complain about with Super 7, but you know what? I'll take or leave it. It's the jaw hinge is not a big deal to me. I know for some people they're anal retentive about it. I am not. Also, I'm older. There's certain things you just can't complain about in life. So as you can see, the paint job matches. So he's got the blood running down the nose. Oop, there you go. All the way down to the chin still, which is pretty awesome. The roar face is beautifully sculpted. I love this thing. That is a great sculpt on that. So there's his closed fist, looking like he needs pictures of Spider-Man. And then the open hand, which you might be wondering, who is this guy? And why does he come with him? Well, this right here, people, is a teeny tiny Art Adams, the artist who drew the cover. So Art is a big-time Godzilla fan for the longest time. He was the one mainstream comic book artist that was keeping the dream of Godzilla alive in the United States. His art is spectacular. In fact, here's a little bit of it right here. Yeah, look at that. So Super 7, known for their geekiness, created a teeny tiny Art Adams to be held in Godzilla's mighty paw, and I am over the moon about it. I love this guy. I love this figure to death. I know a lot of people had some issues with the original issue, which was the 89 Godzilla. Honestly, I didn't see those issues, but that's people. I was over the moon with their Meltdown Godzilla and their Destroyer. Those were just well-made action figures. And I have actually seen a lot of people actually prefer this version to the original because the paint job is actually quite better. I'm going to be honest. The paint job on the 89 was probably my only criticism about it because it's real shiny. This is a much more muted paint job, and with the comic book aesthetic, it stands out that much better. And then just having little Art Adams, beg for his life in Godzilla's hand, that's awesome. That's nerdy. That's geeky. That is absolutely fantastic. So this still remains my absolute favorite buy from this past summer. So kudos to Super 7 for delivering something that is deep cuts and at the same time a quality product, in my opinion. Well, there you guys have it. That is the review of the Super 7 San Diego Comic-Con 2013 Dark Horse Godzilla. Hopefully if you were lucky enough to get one of these, you're enjoying it as much as I am. And yeah, I hope Super 7 keeps this line going. They've vastly improved as they keep going with each new iteration. Like I said in the Destroyer video, that is hands down one of the best action figures I've ever seen made, especially for such an intricate design that Destroyer is. And if you like what you see here, remember, we do have a show. It's called the Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. You can find us at thekaijukingdompodcast.com. And if you don't like to download, you can stream us on all of your favorite podcast streamers. That includes Spotify and Stitcher and, well, wait, Stitcher's dead. Not Stitcher anymore. You can't get them because they're no longer around. But also Apple and wherever else you find your favorite podcasts. That also includes our sister show, Common Kaisers, as well. Hit that RSS link and subscribe. And if you want some feedback, or you want to leave us some feedback, or you just want to talk to us, you say you like us, say you don't like us, we're on social media. We're on X at The Kaiju Kingdom, Instagram at The Kaiju Kingdom, and Facebook.com/The Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. And that's going to do it for this edition of The Koffers. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.